hypnotized. She's pretty, look into her eyes. They tell 1,000 stories of the past. Some of the memories you wish you didn't have. She's brave like her mind. She's a woman, feminine.
Hi everybody. I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope everybody is having a blessed day. Have you ever felt like you observe other people's emotions? Like you walk into a room and instantly know the emotional temperature. Like your empathy isn't just emotional, it's dimensional. What if your empathy isn't just a sensitivity, but a kind of interdimensional awareness? And what if the exhaustion you feel isn't weakness, but lack of energetic boundaries? Today we're exploring interdimensionality and how boundaries shield your empathetic radiance, not suppress it. Because you are not too sensitive, you are perceptive across layers most people don't consciously see, and that kind of radiance needs protection. Interdimensionality isn't just science fiction, it's a metaphor, and possibly more for layered perception. Physicists like Albert Einstein showed us that reality isn't as fixed as it appears. Space and time bend, dimensions interact. String theorists propose that multiple dimensions could exist beyond what we see. But let's bring this down to the human experience. Some people perceive emotional undercurrents beneath words, trauma beneath anger, fear beneath control, loneliness beneath ego. Empathy at this level feels like turning into multiple emotional frequencies at once. Is as if you are standing in one room but sensing five. That's interdimensional awareness on psychological level. And without boundaries, that becomes overwhelming. Why empaths burn out? Empaths don't burn out because they care. They burn out because they don't filter. Imagine standing in the ocean without a shoreline. No edge, no container, no defined self. Psychologist Carl Jung spoke about individuation, the process of becoming a distinct self rather than dissolving into collection unconscious. Without individuation, empathy turns into emotional merging. The merging feels spiritual until it feels suffocating. You start carrying other people's anxiety, other people's grief, other people's expectations, and you mistake emotional absorption for love. But love without boundaries is self-erasing. Boundaries don't diminish radiance, they amplify it. Many empaths feel boundaries. They think, if I stop feeling everything, I'll stop being me. But boundaries don't block empathy, they refine it. Think of the sun. It radiates consistently, but Earth's atmosphere filters that radiation so life can exist. Without that shielding, we would burn. Your boundaries are your atmosphere. Spiritual teachers like Brené Brown often emphasize that vulnerability without boundaries drains power. True empathy say, I can witness your pain without becoming your pain. That is interdimensional mastery. Practical shielding for empathetic radiance. Here are grounded tools, not fantasy escapism, but psychological and energetic discipline. First, name what's yours. Ask, is this emotion mine? If it wasn't present before you entered a space, question it. Awareness alone creates separation. Second, visualize energetic containment. Picture a field around your body, not a wall, but a membrane. Information can pass, emotion do not attach. This mirrors cognitive boundary, work used in trauma-informed therapy. Third, practice selective compassion. You are not required to process everyone's story. Compassion without capacity becomes self-harm. Even mystics throughout history retreated into solitude to regulate their nervous system. Solitude isn't isolation, is recalibration. Fourth, regulate the nervous system. Breathing exercises, cold exposure, ground practices. Empaths often live in chronic sympathetic activation. When your nervous system stabilizes, your empathy becomes precise instead of porous. The higher perspective. If interdimensional awareness is real on any level, psychological or metaphysical, then your task is not to shut it down, is to reward it. Imagine being able to walk into emotional chaos and remain centered. Love deeply without depletion. Sense truth without observing distortion. That is evolved empathy, not martyrdom, not emotional self-sacrifice. Radiance that knows its own perimeter. Your empathy is not a flaw, is not weakness, is not something to numb. It is perception across layers. But perception without boundaries leads to burnout. So instead of dimming your radiance, build a structure strong enough to hold it. Because when empathy is shielded, it becomes wisdom. If this resonated, share your experience in the comments. Have you ever felt emotionally interdimensional? And if you are on the path of protecting your radiance, subscribe. We explore consciousness, psychology, and spiritual depth here. Until next time, and remember, stay aware, stay grounded, and protect your light. I hope this helps you, and I love you all. Goodbye.